Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Winning Streak. We are currently on episode 54. I'm your host, Bryson.
And I'm Zeke.
And I'm Parker.
And today we just have a few NFL things, kind of a quick last-second thrown-together episode, but at least we're getting back on the consistent track, I will say. And it's the first week of NFL, so that's all anyone really cares about anyway. So starting off, I made you guys a blind ranking, and it is first week matchup mix-ups. You'll get it when I say it. So 1 through 5, rank the Chiefs with Derrick Henry. So this is like a team gets a player from the team they're playing this week. And fully healthy season, rank the team.
Well, we already watched this game, and Derrick Henry was low-key trash.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he was very good. So, I mean, probably like 4. Something like that.
Yeah, I guess we'll do 4.
Okay. The Chargers with Devontae Adams.
Low-key, the Chargers got
They're
like
tragic,
no one.
but like that's one of the things they're missing.
Yeah, I was
So
going
I
to
feel
say,
like-
but like how much is that going to help? Like that's not going to change anything.
Yeah.
And for him, that's like the same situation he's in. Like honestly.
Kinda, yeah. Just a really good quarterback, though.
Yeah. Just a really good quarterback, but
I guess
trash team.
I feel like we messed up putting Chiefs at 4. That didn't really make sense. We should have put
Just
them at
depends
like 2
where you
or
go
3.
from here, in my opinion.
I think we can put them at like 3.
I guess, yeah.
Ooh, okay. The Cowboys with a healthy Nick Chubb. And these are all healthy projections, so just I'm not going to have to say healthy anymore.
That's
I
good.
feel like you have to put them at 1 because they're gonna
Yeah.
win. They're gonna win 12 or 13 games this year
Yeah.
anyway. So
Okay.
I mean, you give
Mhm.
them a good running back, it's gonna be an improvement.
Okay. And then you have your 2 and your 5 left. The Rams with Sam Laporta.
Honestly, I feel like that's a really packed receiving core anyway.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I feel like they don't really target tight ends that much. They have Higbee,
Yeah,
who
they
still gets good targets.
He is good.
So
But Sam Laporta's like
I feel like it
ridiculous.
just depends how we're ranking this because like they're gonna be good anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So are we going off of like how much better that team gets?
just how good the team is overall, I guess. Like,
okay. Then we shouldn't have put the Chiefs.
Yeah,
The
then
Chiefs without Derrick Henry would have been 1. So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that's true. So 2 or 5.
I guess we got to put them at 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then your number 5 spot is the 49ers with a healthy Aaron Rodgers.
They get worse.
Yeah.
You think so?
Probably.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. And then getting straight into
I think those are pretty good ranking actually.
it was pretty
Honestly,
good. Just the Chiefs was the only thing that you could change.
if we were
I would have
in
put
hindsight,
Chargers.
yeah,
are number-
Chargers
Yeah,
4 and
swap
Chiefs 3.
them.
Yeah.
Rather
That's
than that,
fair,
it's
though.
pretty solid.
And then what?
I mean, it just depends because like I feel like the Chiefs probably would be 1
Yeah, for sure.
or
I would
2
say.
at the very
It
least.
just depends how you want to rank it,
But-
like based on like wins.
They'd be number 1. Some of the Ravens'
don't know.
play calling was a little bit questionable for Derrick Henry
'Cause-
yesterday, so it's just you got to think of like everything.
He was actually really good in the first quarter, and he just proceeded to get no carries
yeah,
after that.
yeah.
So,
They just he
honestly,
didn't play the whole second or most of the third quarter, I think, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
But honestly, I feel like if you put, because Chiefs are obviously the best team in the AFC,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but I
No
feel
doubt.
like by win total, they probably won't even end up being first seed just because they lose random games.
they do lose.
They have bad
random games. They're gonna
stretches.
lose to the Broncos at
Yeah.
least once with Bo Nix.
Probably.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys are out a top 2 seed in the NFC. So
Yeah,
guess
I
one
think we're gonna end
with
up
Nick
somehow
Chubb.
winning the NFC East. I don't know
I don't see how
but-
they really couldn't. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's
Well, the
gonna be
Eagles look good.
close.
We'll
but
get into that for sure, though. But
It's-
first,
yeah,
let's
I
get
guess.
into our top 3 first overrated players going into this year. You guys want me to go first?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's just going to be give a quick explanation. My first overrated player this year, Bijan Robinson. He was super overrated last year. He didn't have when he played good, he played great, but he was crazy hit or miss last year, and he was unhealthy for quite a bit of it. And you're bringing him back to a team that now has the option to pass more. I just think, at least for how high he's going in fantasy and how much people view him as like the best running back in the league, like he's pretty overrated right now in my opinion. Secondly, I said Jordan Love, no doubt 100% in my eyes is overrated, and that's speaking unbiased as a Cowboys fan, because the dude has a really bad receiving core, if I'm being honest. People are overhyping it like crazy. He has, who's supposed to be a good running back now, but he didn't play great tonight. He picked it up at the end, though. And then he's like number 5 or something in MVP odds. So I think that's ridiculous.
I don't disagree that he's overrated, but I didn't really agree with your reasonings for why he would be overrated.
Okay.
I just feel like he's a little bit
just
overinflated on
overhyped.
how good he is in
Yeah.
general. I wouldn't really put any blame on the rest of his team.
No, that's
Around
fair
that,
for sure, yeah.
I
I don't
think-
like blame his team. I just think not only does he not have enough to be how good people says he is, he just isn't.
I really just wouldn't say that his team
Okay.
is capping him out or
That's fair.
anything like that. I just think there's like he has a skill cap, which I don't know where it's at yet. He could be really good this season, or
Yeah.
he could just be above average. But he was solid last year. He had a very underrated year.
Towards
which
the end of the year, yeah.
his
Started off
year
bad,
being
though.
so underrated last year just made this year super overrated.
Yeah.
So
And
I mean,
then
it's just one of those things. that
it'll be
happen.
hit or miss. And then my last one, I think this one's like relatively obvious, and he's probably not very overrated right now, but I'm just going to say Josh Allen because he's still very good at rushing, but I think his passing game is going to take a big dent this year, even though he has a pretty dang good rookie receiver. I just see a decline in his game for the year. And then
Okay.
who wants to go next?
I can go.
Okay.
I said the same thing. I had Josh Allen at my number 3.
Okay.
I said the same thing. A lot of people like surprisingly still expect them to make like I don't even know if they'll make the playoffs at this point.
I agree.
mean, a lot of people have them going like second round, which I think is like ridiculous. Like he has no tools. I mean, he'll rack up rush yards, but he's not going to get any passing yards like in any games. Not near what he averaged like last year. I mean, you can say what you want about Stephon Diggs, but like they still kind of needed him, you know. My second player, I said Ezekiel Elliott. He's kind of getting up there in age, and I think a lot of people are expecting him. I know you're not happy to hear that.
I don't think anyone expects anything from him.
A lot of people are like expecting him to have like a career resurgence going there, but
Okay, I see that.
I don't think it's going to be like I don't think he's going to get near the playing time people are expecting. So I think it's going to be a bit of a letdown for some people.
I'm glad you said that for one of my underrated players. Go ahead.
And my last one is Kyle Pitts. I feel like he's failed to kind of deliver the last few years, and I see him like even in fantasy drafts. It's like people are taking Kyle Pitts like
Like second or third.
yeah, like
round.
second or third round over like I don't want to take Kyle Pitts over like there's better tight
Trust the
ends.
grind.
People are saying trust Kyle Pitts over Travis Kelce this year. I'm not
I
doing
don't.
that.
I trust it.
Okay, bro.
I
I'm a
don't.
believer, dude.
I trust Trey McBride
been like
over Kyle
4
Pitts.
years.
Oh,
bro.
absolutely. Well, duh.
I like
I don't think that's an argument.
It's been like 3
I
years,
think-
bro. Let it go.
exactly. That's my
he's
point.
gonna hit
the
1K
next Darren
again.
Waller.
He really
No,
is.
Make music
he's
and
actually
date Kelsey
good, dude.
Plum.
I trust Kyle Pitts. It's gonna lock in.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
Is it,
Was that
you
all
got
yours?
through all
Yeah,
yours?
that was my
Okay.
Easy, go ahead.
So my first one, people aren't gonna like this, and honestly, I think it's barely overrated. But I had Anthony Richardson.
Ooh,
Dude, okay.
That's a
people
tough
are,
one.
are talking him up like he's going to win MVP and turn the Colts into like a super team. And
And they could be playoff team with him, I think.
I think that's
honestly.
completely fair that they're a playoff team, but he's a little bit overhyped. I'm excited to see how he plays. He put on a
Okay.
lot of weight.
Yeah.
So
I don't think that's a bad pick, but he's like my new Cam Newton right now until he shows
that's
otherwise.
the thing. He's being treated like Cam Newton, but he hasn't showed he's
Yeah,
Cam
okay,
Newton.
that's fair. I
That's
do
true.
see where you're coming from, no
he
doubt.
just and the crazy thing is if you're that big, you'd think like you're pretty durable.
Yeah,
but he's
that's true.
not.
He gets injured
yeah.
a lot.
I saw the stat. It was ridiculous. He's played 15 total games since high school.
That's
Damn,
nuts.
bro.
That's
That's
actually kind of
gross.
crazy.
So
Yeah, that's insane. Okay, that's fair.
I don't
Yeah.
know if that was accurate, but I wouldn't be surprised. He didn't play very many games at Florida.
Yeah,
I think he only played like 8 games or something like that.
that's crazy.
So, well, no, it would probably have to be 10 games, and you only played like 3 in the NFL.
Mhm.
So, moving on to Keenan Allen.
Okay,
I-
that's fair.
Yeah.
I have major concerns about his reliability.
Oh, okay.
Going through the last 3 seasons, he gets hurt, and
Mhm.
he's hurt right now.
That's
He's
true.
marked as questionable, and that offense is kind of just stacked right now.
I was gonna say there's a lot of questions about his role, like in that offense.
Yeah,
he
we talked about that.
yeah,
before.
we've talked about like I feel like he was surprised them drafting like a receiver.
I was
Yeah.
pretty surprised with it as well.
I think
which-
it's cool. I mean, I think it's more of a they're testing out with him, and worst case scenario, oh no, we got to get rid of you and let
Yeah.
Romo Dunze keep cooking. Like,
That's the thing
big
for
deal.
him is like he went in there thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna have a rookie. I'm gonna have a rookie, and I have a good receiver who was a wide receiver 1 that is
Yeah.
just gonna get shifted over to wide receiver 2, and then
Mhm.
you bring
now
in a
he's
rookie.
fighting with 2 other people.
Yeah.
And honestly, DJ Moore at this point isn't that
DJ
much
Moore is
worse than
really
him,
good.
so
I would
he's on
say
the
DJ
chopping
Moore
block.
as of last year is better.
Yeah.
Going into
Yeah,
this year, I would
definitely.
put DJ Moore over Keenan Allen.
I agree. If you're
Yeah.
gonna
Okay.
be
Probably.
hurt that often, you can't really be like talked about like
Casuals will say no.
that. Yeah, and I mean I get it to an extent. He's Keenan Allen. He's good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but he's old now, kind of.
He's getting up there in age, and he's
Hmm.
always hurt. So you can't
Who's
expect too much. And then my last one was Hollywood Brown, because he is not
Okay.
the signing this season. He's already missing games,
Yeah.
and
He's always injured.
After the Chiefs put together more of a team, it just became apparent that he's not actually going to be as good as I thought he was going to be. Even
I mean, look at Xavier Worthy, dude. He like
Yeah.
snatched his spot
I
in the first
know.
game.
So gross.
I mean like even Rashee Rice.
Mm-hmm. Dude,
Yeah, Rashid
had-
Rice is really good.
he is really good.
He's really good at going fast, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a spot lacking for Hollywood Brown there.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be the wide receiver 1. He misses a game, and
Yeah.
they
Mhm.
played completely fine on offense.
He could go somewhere else.
The best
honestly,
that
and be fine.
receiver core has been since Tyreek left.
Yeah, no
well,
doubt.
Honestly,
Yeah, I would say so. This year is going to be the best.
I
year
would
since Tyreek.
say it's probably the best core they've had, because the previous cores weren't that great
That's true.
in those Tyreek
That's
Hill
fair.
years. It was just Tyreek Hill and
Yeah.
Travis Kelce, and now you have washed up Travis Kelce and
I know, dude. It's
2
weird.
good
You
young
have
players,
post
and
Taylor
Hollywood,
Swift,
who's
Travis
still
Kelce.
good, obviously, but
Yeah, just not on the team.
yeah, he's not going to be the difference maker.
And then getting into underrated, my first one sounds a little bit biased, but it is true. I have Rico Dowdle. Last year, he, for some reason, got like completely not played, and Tony Pollard kept just being trash. But when he would play, he was like a fast fullback. He was just running through people, and he's huge. And I think with Zeke regressing probably, and Dalvin Cook technically being a practice squad player, he'll probably get more reps and shine out. And then I said Kyler Murray because he's a comeback player. He's ridiculously underrated because I feel like people don't even know his name exists anymore. Like, people don't talk about him to a crazy extent.
Mm-hmm.
And so even if he wins 6 games, he beat the underrated allegation, so that's good. And then my last one, I said Aaron Rodgers. Same thing. I just hope he can stay healthy, come back, and have a good team to play with and win. Who's next?
Okay. I also had Kyler Murray
Okay.
as my first guy, because pretty much the same reasons as you, but
Mm.
honestly, I just feel like he's a difference maker
Yeah,
on that team.
he is.
And when he's healthy, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and it's really kind of understated. And I've noticed a lot of people are talking about him on like Twitter. There's some pretty good discussions. He's starting to get kind of even honestly slipping into overrated territory for me from what I'm seeing, but especially from Cardinals fans, but he is good, and he's going to be
I'm a be very
weapon.
curious what Instagram has to say about that clip right there. About you saying he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league when he's healthy. Because, like, I don't completely disagree, but people are going to take that like
Honestly,
a bullet to the chest.
if you want to keep this part in the clip, too, I think
Oh, no,
you
yeah,
should,
no doubt.
is going back to 2021 when he was healthy through week 8, he was the MVP favorite.
True.
And I don't know, you could check Oz and he probably
right.
wasn't actually MVP favorite or whatever. He was probably second or something stupid like they had
No, you're
Mahomes
right.
higher. But I don't even think Mahomes won MVP that year. But he was very good.
Mm-hmm.
And when he gets back to that point, which he will this year for sure, with a rising core of Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, and Michael Wilson, he's going to be good. He's going to show that he's a solid quarterback in the league.
Okay.
So let me move on. I kind of went into
I like
a rant about Kyler Murray.
It's good for the clip.
And then DeAndre Swift is my second guy.
Dang, I was going to put him, actually.
I
didn't,
feel
though.
like he's really kind of, people forgot he's on that Bears
no
team.
one said anything
Mhm.
about him yet, bro.
And he's the main guy on that squad, and
I'll
he's
bet
going to
you
put
he
up.
gets 2 touchdowns opening game.
Honestly, probably. I feel like everybody's expecting the Caleb show
Yeah.
with that wide
Mhm.
receiver core, but they're going to have running back touches no matter what. They're a big rushing team,
That offense is
especially
so good.
last year.
Yeah, it's stacked.
Last year they ran the ball quite a bit, and they didn't have very good running backs. So
Yeah.
I mean, they're talking about putting a good running
my
back on
God.
that team, and they're going
And
to
they
be
have
solid.
Cole Kmet. It just popped in my head. Like,
Oh.
that team is disgusting, dude.
It's
Yeah.
just their
That
defense
team,
is tragic.
if they build
but
the defense after this year and the
Mhm.
O-line,
They have a good
like,
setup.
they have a super team, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's gross. Who's your third player?
Aaron Jones is my third guy. I feel like
Didn't he just get ruled out for the season?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
Aaron
I'm pretty
Jones?
sure, bro. Unless I'm tripping.
we were talking about it the other day, weren't we?
Yeah. Or no, I swear, unless I'm tripping, bro.
I thought we literally talked about this the other day.
Or who was it? Someone just got ruled out for the season.
I don't think so.
Maybe I'm wrong. I could have
You're
sworn,
tripping.
though.
We were talking about this like the other day. If it's
Let me
not
check one
him,
more
I
time.
don't know who it is.
Maybe it was A.J. Dillon, and
No,
I'm
he's-
just thinking
He's
of...
not.
Okay.
Yeah,
continue.
it is AJ Dillon.
Okay, I was thinking
Mhm.
A.J. Dillon.
Two,
I got them.
two former, well, not former. He's
Green
still on
Bay
the Packers.
guys.
Yeah,
I
But-
get them mixed up
Okay.
every time.
I think Aaron Jones on that Vikings team, when you have to play Sam Darnold as your quarterback
Yeah.
for the entire season, presumably, I doubt that they're going to try to force JJ McCarthy
No,
in.
they won't.
Honestly, I'm not even a Sam Darnold hater. I think he'll be okay.
I think he'll be reliable. He's going to pull like a Cooper Rush kind of thing and win a few games and be really decent, and
I
people
feel
are going to
like-
get hyped up.
Sam Darnold kind of had like a different kind of talent. He wasn't good enough to go second overall, and the Jets honestly like kind of like messed with him. When you put a
Yeah.
quarterback that's like kind of like raw on a team like that, it messes them up bad,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and which is what's going to happen to Drake May if they try to start
Yeah.
him by week 3.
Probably.
I'm not that worried about Sam Darnold, but let me get back on point.
Mm.
He's gonna get good touches, and he's not in a battle for real reps. It's
Yeah.
Ty Chandler, so
Yeah, that's true.
he's gonna be good. I have him on my fantasy team. I got him pretty late, so I'm hoping he'll put up some points.
Mm-hmm.
But he was okay last year, and he was hurt quite a bit.
he was
so
decent.
I think
for
he'll be
sure.
solid. I think Jay Jettis reps will probably be a little low
Yeah.
this year
no
without a
doubt,
good
they will be.
quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I think people will
He's still
realize
gonna
how
get
good
his
Kirk
yards,
Cousins
though.
was when they see how down the Jay Jettis numbers are
I
going to
don't
be this
know.
year.
I think Justin Jefferson's still going to get his numbers, but Darnold's going to throw for like 2,000 yards this season, and Justin Jefferson's going to have like 1,500.
I don't know. Jordan Addison's pretty good on that team too. He gets
Okay. He's going to have 2,200
Okay.
passing yards. though.
Parker, it's your turn.
For underrated, yeah.
Yeah.
I only did one underrated, but I think
Okay.
it's a pretty good one. I said Trey McBride. I think
Okay.
starting as tight end this year, I mean, he already had he had quite a few targets last season. I think he's just absolutely going to feast, especially with Kyler being back in the lineup.
Yeah. They were
I-
still trying to work him in last year, too.
I think he's got the perfect storm to absolutely cook this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, I think he's going to shock a lot of people. Better than Kyle Pitts, I think he's going to be better by a mile this year.
Okay. I could see him being like a top 3 to 5 tight end this year, honestly.
I think he is.
I believe he's actually expected to be top 3 this year.
I think he
I
should
think
be.
that's what his ranking is.
I mean, like,
And
who would even be like top 3 this year? Like him,
Laporta, Kelsey,
Kelsey.
and him.
yeah,
Njoku.
And Joku's actually like
regressing.
they put him at like tight end 8.
Mm-hmm.
I got him like late round,
That's crazy.
really late. I think I got
There's
him
some
like.
really underrated tight ends in
12th
the
round
league,
or something like
honestly.
that.
Tight end position overall is just so underrated.
Mm-hmm. It just
Mhm.
shifts around a lot.
Yeah.
It's not like a super reliable point, so unless
Yeah.
you have like Sam Laporta.
That is true.
You can always throw in like George Kittle and stuff.
Yeah, Kittle
Oh,
is
yeah,
very.
true. And then getting into our Super Bowl predictions really quick.
Ooh, curious who you
And
guys
this
said.
is all if fully healthy for the season. Like, obviously, like if one of us picked the Bengals or something and Joe Burrow got hurt, obviously
Yeah,
that's
it
not
wouldn't
going to
really
be our pick.
I think we did that.
Mhm.
Like, was
Yeah.
it last year?
Yeah,
I think
Parker,
I
I
think
think,
no,
or
it
someone
was
did.
it was me. I
Yeah.
had the Bengals.
Like if Burrow got injured in week 4 and you see this in week 5, don't be stupid.
Yeah,
Use
Yeah.
2 and 2. This is before week 1 starts.
you want to?
I have the same teams that I've been saying since last
no.
season for this season. If they stay healthy, Jets, Niners, Super Bowl this year.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Jets Cowboys.
No.
That's what you were running on last year. I
Cowboys
thought.
could do it, but Jets, Niners is my Super Bowl pick for this year. And I think Jets win. And we're going to go over Super Bowl MVPs later.
I'm not sold
Okay.
on the Jets.
I think the script and just how Aaron Rodgers is as a player, like how his greatness is, he has to have one more big go.
That's
Like
fair.
at least he's going to, and I think they might actually end up somehow acquiring Devontae this season
I wouldn't be
because
surprised.
he's pissed
Yeah,
and he's gonna want out.
He
by
wants
week, He's
out.
gonna want out by week 5 is my prediction.
He
and
wants
gets
out
traded
already.
to the
That's
Jets.
actually funny because I had Gardner Minshew on my underrated. I expect him to be pretty solid this year.
That's fair. And then
Um,
who wants to go next for the
I'll
pick?
do mine. I have Lions and Chiefs.
Okay,
Okay.
In
I
mine.
like that.
I'm very big on the Lions this year. Like I'm super
I-
big
I
on
am
the Lions
too.
this year.
I am.
I
too.
put money on the Lions winning the Super Bowl this year.
Really?
So
Okay,
Got it. That's a good one.
that is.
That'd be a
good
fun one. Then who do you have?
I had Lions as well, but I had the Texans. I think they loaded up,
that's a
dude.
really
actually
good one.
funny because that was my former. That was like my one up until like today when I decided the Chiefs played really well and I
Really?
was
Yeah,
expecting
that is
them
true,
to be
dude. They
good.
looked insane.
Dude, I'm so there's so many like high end offenses
Yeah.
coming into this year,
Mhm.
like crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad we all had different picks for that, honestly.
Yeah, it was fun.
Mhm.
And then getting into all of the awards. We're just going to give the names and like the quickest, shortest reasoning possible.
Mhm.
We have our top 3 picks for each award. So I'll say it every time just so for the clip's sake. Top 3 picks for MVP. I'll go first. And they're all going to be in order. My top 3 picks for MVP this year are Patrick Mahomes, just because he's Patrick Mahomes, and that's what he does. CJ Stroud, because he's about to be running the NFL again, probably. And Dak, just because last
What?
year he should have had it, and this year
what you had?
is
What
his
the
year.
fuck?
You have the
dude?
exact list. Where is it? No way. Okay, me and Parker have the exact same list. Weirdly enough, that's
Yeah,
pretty
look
funny.
at it. Like, literally-
mixed mine up a little
I kid you not.
That's
That's
In
how
the
you know
same
it's a
order,
good
too.
list.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
a good list.
I also had Mahomes first.
Okay.
I feel like it's just the past few seasons he's gone in as MVP favorite.
Yeah.
And we'll see if that changes by week 8 if they're like 5-3 or something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
They'd still.
for now, that's where I'm at. I feel like, and then my second pick, I feel like Joe Burrow is in
Okay.
line to have his season.
Yeah.
That's a
And
good
I
one.
was even gonna say sleeper pick he was gonna win MVP this year, but I don't see it.
Oh, okay.
Although I think he's gonna put up some pretty big numbers. I expect him to go over 5,000.
Was he your second?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I expect him to go over 5,000 yards this year.
Okay. That's
So,
a good one.
I'm expecting big things.
If they stay healthy, I can agree with that, honestly.
And then my last pick was CMC.
Okay.
I think you
That's a
can't
good one
you
for
can't write
sure.
him off. He played really well last year.
Yeah,
He'll be there if he stays healthy, of course.
I agree. And then offensive player of the year, or let me restate that. My top 3 offensive player of the year for this season is Christian McCaffrey first, of course. I feel like that's obvious. And then I kind of not just simply wanted to be different with my list, but I don't have Tyreek on mine. My number 2 is Jamar Chase. And my
Okay.
number 3 is Saquon Barkley
Okay.
after today. That was disgusting.
You have your Spurger. You want me to?
You get it.
Okay. So there's a guy that I have winning that was not on your list, so I'm a little excited. I have CeeDee Lamb in line for his big
I
season.
was gonna put him, but I was like, nah.
Because last season was a big season.
Mhm.
I'm not sure. Did he go over 1,700 or was he at 16,
I
high
think
16?
He barely went under or over.
Yeah, I
One of
thought, I
the
thought
two.
he had like
He
16.
barely went under or over.
I expect him to go possibly 1,800 this year,
Okay.
and I'm pretty excited to see that. I think he's honestly, in my book, I think he's the best receiver in the league. But,
I agree. Honestly.
my second guy is CMC. You can't write him off. He's
No.
gonna put up big numbers, 2,000 scrimmage yards easy.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that, but pretty close. He did it
He
last
had
year.
1750 last year.
1750. Yeah, I think he's in
easily
line
breaking 18 this year.
for at least another 1,700 this year.
Yeah.
So I think as long as there isn't like Tyreek Hill or CMC having insane seasons, I think they got to give it to CD.
Okay.
So, and then I had Tyreek Hill as my third pick. You
Okay,
can't
yeah.
write him off as well. He's going to put up probably at least 1,500, few
It's-
touchdowns.
It's gonna be one of those guys probably, unless I am right about Jamar having a breakout year with Joe again. And then who's yours?
My number 1, I had C.J. Stroud. I think he's gonna have monster season, especially with like bringing in Stephon and Tank Dell.
Yeah.
Hopefully healthy for the majority of the season.
Yeah.
That was pretty unfortunate last year, but I think he's gonna rack up like yards like crazy, and they're more set now.
He
Like
might
they're-
have 6,000 yards.
dude, it's gonna be gross. And then my number 2, I had Saquon. I think
Okay.
he's gonna be like, we saw what he did first game, dude. He's gonna
Yeah.
be a monster this year. I think.
I thought I was original with that one.
Yeah, he's gonna be gross coming into this year, dude. I
Yeah.
mean,
I thought he was gonna be a bust. I'm not gonna lie. I'm furious.
I was expecting pretty big things, but I didn't think it was gonna be to that extent.
No.
I mean, if he can keep that kind of pace, which, you know, even some like
probably
some
can.
semblance of that pace, it's like nuts.
Yeah, it's over.
And then my number 3 is Tyreek. Pretty
Yeah.
self-explanatory.
Yeah, I was gonna say you don't even need a
Yeah.
explanation for that one. Defensive player of the years, we'll just skip explanations because it's really not much
Yeah.
to explain for defense. My top 3 in order: Max Crosby, T.J. Watt, Micah Parsons.
Okay.
T.J. Parker's just switched up T.J. Watt and Max Crosby.
Okay, mine is a touch different because I feel like you guys are missing a guy.
Miles.
But I had TJ Watt first. I think if he
has
stays healthy
Miles.
the whole year, he has to get his at some point. You know, he's
Yeah,
just.
no
I feel like
doubt.
he's got.
I can't believe he has.
People
him,
say
so-
robbed, but I don't know about robbed. I feel like if you get hurt and then your defense in general like
Yeah.
slips up and loses games, you
I
can't
agree.
really be that mad about it. And then Miles Garrett, I feel like
Yeah.
if you're that good, you're gonna be in talks every year.
Yeah.
And
that's
then I had
fair.
Micah Parsons, and I think
Okay.
this is like maybe a hot take, but if Dak doesn't win MVP and Micah Parsons wins Defensive Player of the Year, Dak is not going to be the quarterback on the Cowboys next year. So
I already don't think he's gonna be. I think we're actually gonna end up drafting Sanders.
That
honestly,
would be crazy.
I'd be
Well,
totally fine with it.
you're gonna have to trade up
It's fine.
big time.
We can
Like,
trade
Yeah.
Dak up.
yeah, I guess that's true.
That is
The
true.
Raiders.
Dude,
Yeah,
imagine.
that'd be
Oh my
fine.
god.
Dak to the Raiders.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how that works because I don't know if you
Or
could
to the-
trade him because he's not going to be on contract.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
we would end up figuring something out to get him, bro.
Probably.
Yeah.
That'd be nasty, dude.
And
Holy.
then for rookie of the year, for rookie of the year, offensive and defensive, we'll go offense. We'll just do both. My top 3 for rookie of the year, offense and defense. For offense, I have Caleb Williams, Xavier Worthy, and Marvin Harrison.
What the hell, dude?
For defense, I have Dallas Turner, Latu, and Byron Murphy. For Xavier Worthy, bro, he's going to be getting a touchdown every game probably and like hundreds of yards. He's just going to rack up the stats to get it. Or were you saying about the how because you had a similar list or because
I had the
it's a bad
exact same list.
list? Okay, I was
Again.
like there's no way I should have to explain that. To defense too?
No, not
Okay,
defense.
what's
my
your
defense.
defense?
My defense is Latu, Chop Robinson, and Byron Murphy.
Okay.
Okay.
No Dallas Turner.
I don't know. I feel like he's kind of overrated, but
Okay.
maybe that's just me.
I get where you're coming from, but I say that, and then he's my number one. But so for offensive rookie of the year, I have Marvin Harrison Jr. I expect him to break the rookie receiving record,
Okay.
which I think is 1,300.
Didn't Puka just said it last year?
I thought it was.
Oh, he put up
13.
1,500.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Puka went
Yeah, but
crazy.
previously it was 1,300.
Yeah.
I believe. But I expect him to be pretty high up, at least 1,400
yeah,
is
that's
my
fair.
baseline with the wide receiver 1 on a
Mm.
team like that with Kyler Murray. I had Jaden Daniels at 2.
I was gonna put him at 2.
That's fair.
I don't want to overrate him, but on that team he's going to be a pretty good piece.
They look.
I think
good.
they're going to put them together.
Commanders are gonna be decent soon.
I was kind of a hater pre-draft,
Mhm.
but he grew on me, and I'm expecting him to be pretty good.
Mhm.
And then my third pick is Caleb Williams. I think if you have a high-powered offense like that, as long as he's average,
Yeah.
I think if he goes
Yeah.
over 4,000 yards, which is already the Bears' record,
Yeah, they're.
you
fine.
kind of have to like. He might even win off of just that.
Yeah.
If they're
honestly.
if they're a playoff team, I think he's a lock. But if they're not,
That's
then
fair. I think they're gonna be.
He has all the tools to be. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
it'd honestly be like a disappointment if he wasn't even in the conversation.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then for my defensive rookie of the years, I had Dallas Turner 1,
Okay.
but second guy that I
Me
noticed
too.
you guys didn't have was Terrion Arnold. I'm
Okay.
big on the Lions, so
I
I
was
expect him to
looking
be
at
a
that.
big
That's
part
fair.
of the Lions team.
Yeah.
And obviously, like defensive backs don't usually win.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, he
So,
definitely.
well, I
could.
mean, I don't know. Rookie of the year, you kind of get away with it. But,
Yeah.
I expect big things out of him. He's pretty good. He's very talented.
Mhm.
And then I had Byron Murphy the second as my
Okay.
third guy.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we had a
think he's
similar
underrated.
list, honestly, for defense. And then for coach of the year, in order for me, D'Amico Ryans of the Texans,
Mm-hmm.
Jim Harbaugh of the Ravens, and Matt Eberflus of the Bears.
Okay.
Never thought I'd be saying a Bears coach might win coach of the year, but here we are. 2024, everyone.
Did you have your Spurs? You got it.
Yeah, I had D'Amico Ryans as well,
Of course, yes.
Jim Harbaugh as well, and I also threw in Andy Reid because
Okay, that's not bad at all. You
I
can't
feel
count
like-
him out.
I feel like it's kind of justified because I think a lot of people are kind of sleeping on that. As weird as it is to say, I feel like a lot of people are kind of expecting a down year from the Chiefs because of like.
I kind of was, but after that game, I am not. I'm expecting
I feel like-
undefeated season
Yeah,
at
I
this
feel like
point.
going into the season, a lot of people were expecting a down year, but I think the way that they're kind of maneuvering this offense around the rookies
Mhm.
is kind of gross. It's like,
The play designs look gross, and I think going back to what you said about like expecting a down year, we've been just hoping for one for 3 years. I don't
Yeah.
think we've been like it's been like this every year. Like I think we're just hoping for one now. There's no expectation.
yeah,
And then what's your Zeke?
Okay, I had D'Amico Ryans as
Mhm.
my number 1 as well, which is funny because if you check odds, he's actually not very high.
know,
up
he's
on
Yeah,
yeah,
odds.
it's really weird.
Really weird.
And
I might
I
place
feel
a
like
bet just to make some bands out there.
I feel like they're obviously their favorite for their division,
Yeah.
and if they put together 11 wins, and even if they put up 12, I feel like he's a lock. But,
Yeah. That's fair.
I had Jonathan Gannon as
Okay.
my 2.
That's a good
Which
one.
I don't know, could be biased just because I'm a Cardinals fan, but
No,
I
that's
expect
fair.
big things. He's really like switched around the culture
Mhm.
for the Cardinals, and even like last year, there was even like
Yeah.
a little bit of buzz about it. Obviously, like if you win 5 games, you're not gonna.
Yeah, that's
You're
a
not-
fair pick. I
you're
was
not
gonna
gonna be
say,
there, but-
considering they didn't win many games last year, like if they win quite a few this year
Mhm.
and look really good compared to last year, he's gonna get it. So I
Yeah.
agree with that pick actually.
And then I had Matt LaFleur as my
Okay.
third
Very
because
fair.
I feel like in that division, I feel like the Bears are gonna get they're gonna get pushed back.
That's
Just
fair.
because that division's kind of talented, even with the Vikings being down a quarterback,
Mhm.
Yeah.
there's
The-
still
the
going to
Green
be
Bay
there's
just
going to
got
be
a
a lot
harder
of splitting
schedule this
games
year.
through that division,
Yeah.
and I think the Lions being the clear favorite, they're like a 12-game lock.
That's fair.
And I think the Packers are like a 10-game lock.
Okay.
So the Bears are kind of they get the weekend there
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
obviously they're good, but they're going to have to lose games, and I think that's where they're going to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, that is true. And
Um,
then wait, do you have anything else?
No, that was
Okay.
it.
And then we have 2 more awards and then a quick division winners. But first, our comeback player of the year predictions. I'm excited for this one. My top 3 in order, opposed to Zeke, Anthony Richardson, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow. I wish I had Kyler Murray on there, but I felt like I should put these guys instead.
Off of your point that you just made, I want to go next instead
Okay.
of Parker because you said not Anthony Richardson, but he's actually on my list.
Okay.
I had Aaron Rodgers first. I
Okay.
feel like if you blow out your Achilles in the first game like that,
Yeah. That's
Mhm.
sad.
and if you play at least 16 games next year, you're gonna win it.
Yeah,
I mean, they gave it to Joe Flacco
that is true.
over a guy that literally died. So, moving on, I had Nick Chubb at 2. You
Oh,
completely
okay, that's a good one.
detonate your knee, and you're
I
gonna
just
come
think he's
back.
gone
And
for too long to get a chance to win it, but we'll see.
I don't know.
actually.
Joe Flacco literally played like 7 games and won it.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So I'm not gonna hold out.
Good
That's
point.
also why I had him at 2. But
So happy he's my RB2 behind McCaffrey.
I don't know about
Continue.
that. And then I had Anthony Richardson.
Okay.
I think he's gonna be good. Obviously, I don't think he's gonna be like great. So
Yeah. Okay,
I
see
think
what
if
you
the
mean there.
Colts can put up a fight in that division and like beat out the Jaguars for that 2 spot in that division, I think you kind of have to stack them up pretty high in awards talks, even just outside of
Okay, that's a good
comeback
list.
player.
That's honestly a very fair list. I forgot about Chubb. I should have thought about Chubb for mine, especially considering he's on my team. Go ahead, fellow.
I had Aaron Rodgers, my number 1,
Okay.
Joe Burrow, number 2, and Nick Chubb, number 3.
Okay, so pretty similar list.
Yeah, we're all kind of like a mix.
And then
I had Joe Burrow on my first list too
Yeah.
before I revised.
And then our last award one, our top 3 picks for Super Bowl MVP. Mine in order. It's gonna sound weird because you'll see. Okay, so number 1, Aaron Rodgers. Number 3, CMC. Even though that was my Super Bowl teams, and then number 2, I still just had to put Mahomes because like
Okay.
it doesn't seem right for me to, because it's just gonna happen, and then I want to be able to say, oh, I said that. So, who is your guys' picks? And you can kind of just base it off of the 2 best.
Okay.
players
Well, I
from-
only made 1 because I wasn't really thinking
That's
about
fair.
doing 3.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I had Amonra because I have the Lions winning, but I
Okay.
guess Patrick Mahomes would be the secondary there,
Yeah,
and I suppose you could put in like
you could say Jared Goff. Honestly,
Jared Goff was actually my first guy, but I
Yeah.
figured I would get clowned if I said Jared Goff is my Super Bowl MVP outright and not
No.
in like a 3-piece list.
I don't think that's bad. Honestly, even if you just said it for the 1, especially since
Mm-hmm.
I really don't think that's a bad pick at all. Then who's yours? You can.
I had 2 because I wanted to do like 1 per team.
Yeah.
So my Super Bowl was Texans Lions, and I said C.J. Stroud for the Texans or Amon-Ra for the Lions.
Okay. I like the Amon-Ra picks. I feel like it would
Sam
be Jared
Laporta
Goff.
could fit in there too.
Yeah.
It's possible. And then we can all. I know we know the NFL divisions, but if you want to look at them, just pull them up on your phone. We're just going to go over our predictions for each winner before the end of the episode. Starting off with the AFC East. One of the more fun ones to think about. It's between the Jets and the Dolphins for sure for me. I think. I don't really know. It's kind of hard because I don't know the strength of schedules either.
I think the Jets.
I
I'll
got
say the
Dolphins.
Jets. The Dolphins just always are going to be winning regular season games with this team.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say Jets though.
Yeah, I don't see the Dolphins regressing, so I'm gonna give it to them.
Okay.
I don't know if
I got
I think it's
Jets.
gonna be a very tight race. I don't have any team in that division really topping out really high on wins.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I think they're probably all gonna be sitting around like 11 to 9 games minus the Patriots, of course.
That's fair
but,
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just gonna be kind of tough because the Bills, I think, have the short end of the stick because their
They do. It
receiving
sucks for
core
them.
kind of just like their
Fell
their
apart.
defense kind of just like dissolved, and a part of
Yeah.
that is just like if you put together a good team, it's gonna have to break up at some point,
Mm-hmm.
and they haven't been drafting like excellent or anything.
Yeah. No.
So I think that's where they're gonna suffer, and I have the Jets winning like 10 games and probably 11
Okay.
games for the Dolphins. Of course, I say that, but I don't look at their schedules, so I'm just
yeah.
guessing.
That's what
but-
makes it hard. And then the AFC North. I think it's really between 2 teams. I have
Yeah.
the Bengals.
I have the Ravens.
I
Okay.
also have the Ravens.
Okay, very fair. I think, weirdly enough, they're going to regress compared to last year. They're just not going to look as good as they did last year or be as feared. And Lamar did not look good.
No, he didn't. I
I-
was gonna say
He
it
can't
all.
throw the ball.
It all depends on like how the quarterbacks pan out this year
I
because Joe
think-
Burrow's coming back off injury and Lamar did not look good.
I've always defended Lamar's throwing, too, but after that game, dude, Jesus.
It was
It was honestly a lot of that was play call. You can look at his stats.
Partly,
you can
but-
call it box stat watching, but of course we watched the game, so it's like that's not true.
Actually seeing
But
the game, some of the throws.
he-
were bad.
Some of them were just like
He
was
kinda got
missing,
overhated for
easy
that.
passes.
He
and
threw
a lot of
hospital
that
pass at the end too.
was just bad play call.
Yeah, part of it.
A
for
lot
sure.
of broken plays that resulted in him having to just like lob the ball up
Yeah.
there. And there was, I mean, good coverage all night. And you had to deal with your offensive line being off balance because of player position calls,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
that's
which
It's bad.
weren't getting called on the other side of the field. So I mean, you're off your game, and to honestly be that competitive through the whole game with all that happening, I'm gonna give it to him. He had
That's
over
fair.
100 rushing yards.
Yeah, his
They-
rushing game.
They
was
were
really good. I'll
really
give him
abusing
that.
the option, which I was kind of happy to see them running with Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
and
they just need
Justice
to
Hill.
do that more though. They didn't do it enough. It was weird.
They kind of just like stopped doing it in this. Well, it didn't work very well in the second quarter, which is mostly because they stopped using
Yeah.
Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know. Maybe he like tweaked his leg or something. Like I don't know.
No, they would have said something probably, but I don't know.
But they kind of cut his reps, and I didn't really get it. But I mean, Justice Hill played okay.
Yeah, but not good enough at all. And
So
then,
I'm not going to be a Lamar hater.
Okay.
I honestly, I think they played really competitive, and I don't really see them taking a major step back. I would have said that before I watched that game that I thought they would take a step back, but to be competitive up to the last play, I'm going to give
Yeah,
it to them.
I guess
that
that's true.
they're a good team.
Mm-hmm.
And then AFC South, we all have Texans. AFC West, we all have Chiefs. Can
Yeah.
we just
Yeah.
figured? NFC East, I think the Cowboys will pull through this year somehow.
I agree. I think it's
I don't
the
have
same.
logic. I just feel like it's going to happen.
I didn't think the Eagles looked that impressive aside from like Saquon literally.
Saquon and one AJ Brown play.
I
Yeah.
think it's really on brand for NFC East to have a different winner every year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with it.
Did
The Eagles won last year, right?
no?
No, the
Cowboys
Cowboys
won
won.
last year.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
They won by
Maybe
like
I'll
a game.
switch it up then.
Okay. You can say Eagles. The
I think it's gonna be close. Really close.
NFC North.
Lions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Lions, but I think people are really gonna be surprised by how close the Bears make it.
I was gonna
Maybe
say.
not all the way up till the end, but like week 9, it's gonna be between 1 or 2 games. I think.
I think they'll
Yeah.
be within like 2 games. But
I think the Bears are getting underrated this year. People aren't looking at them as a
I think
threat, and they are.
early in the season, it's going to be pretty competitive.
Okay.
I don't know how it matches up with the in division
Yeah.
games,
Mhm.
but I think it'll be fairly competitive up until like week 10.
Okay.
And then I think the Lions are kind of going to make their space.
Mhm.
I expect them to win
yeah,
13
that's fair.
games.
Yeah, I
so
Yeah.
could see that happening.
I don't really see it being super close,
Yeah.
but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears win 9 games.
Yeah.
So,
I could see them winning like 11 or 12.
No, I don't
Like
know
I think
about
their
that one.
ceiling is 12 to 13 if they're crazy lucky, and their floor is 9.
I think they top out at 11.
I think their floor is like 6, honestly. We have to
Yeah.
see
No,
how
I don't see it. I
Caleb
think they're
plays
really going to be
and
good.
how they deal with injury.
Mhm.
And honestly, a big thing
Well, yeah,
for me
injury
is
would matter.
we
too.
haven't seen how their play calling is going to be this year. So that's
That's
a really
true. Yeah.
big thing for me. If
I
it's
just
the
think
same
you
nonsense,
can't mess up the play calling on that team.
if it's the same nonsense
It's
you
so
were running
diverse.
with Justin Fields, it's not going to be pretty. And
Yeah.
that's
But
where
I
they
mean,
cap
like,
out of 7 games.
you could
instead of
tell them all
Yeah.
like run separate ways, and you have 5 wide receiver ones to
That's-
throw to. Basically,
I
it's
know-
crazy.
I know this is off topic, but what do you guys think about Caleb Williams' number getting retired at USC?
I thought that was really weird. I
Yeah.
thought it was way too soon,
I thought
especially
it was
doing it
sent
like
out
really
of-
quick. He didn't. It's pretty quick.
He didn't really do anything.
No.
no. He
I was gonna
lost,
say that, but I didn't want to be the one.
he lost against Utah, but
Yeah,
that's about it.
Those Utah teams are kind of.
they should retire Utah's logo there instead.
Utah is going to be good this year.
I
too.
don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Utah's
expect
good
them to
every
win
year.
Big 12, but
Yeah,
I don't
I think Arizona's probably going to win.
really.
Speaking of winning,
They look gross.
the winner of the NFC West is going to be the Niners. We can all agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the NFC South. Who do you guys think? I got the Bucks again.
Bucks?
I think they're
Hmm.
going to beat out the Falcons.
I got the Falcons.
I got the Falcons as well.
I think Rashad White, Mike Evans, and Baker Mayfield
was
are going to
gonna
have a
say,
gross year.
as
But
long as
I
Kirk
think
stays healthy.
Kirk's
Mhm.
going to struggle, and I think that team overall is going to struggle.
I don't think struggle is in Kirk's DNA.
I think
struggle
Kirk's
to
just
be
like
able
mediocre.
to walk for half of a season is in Kirk's DNA every single year, so it is definitely there.
Well, I see him being locked.
Winning ain't in
and
his
ready.
DNA.
He's
Okay.
just consistently mid, so it's
Winning
like
isn't in fact in his DNA.
No,
He wins a lot of regular season games.
Yeah. Well, apparently that doesn't matter according to the argument we had yesterday.
I was gonna say.
I was so confused.
I was waiting to see your response. Either you were gonna say something funny or you were gonna double down. I was gonna be Dak.
I was just like, well, the whole point of this was to talk about regular season. But that just about covers everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we got through all of that really well. It was a decently long episode. Week 1 is back. These clips will be out in the next few days. And we appreciate you guys for watching this episode, and we'll see you next week.